New video time. Guys, I am Yard Offside FM, and it is very nice to see you again. This is episode 5 of The Triumph, my Football Manager 2017 Let's Play series as Hell's Teeth FC in the Tuvaluan A Division. Thank you for coming back for episode 5, guys. You will remember in the last episode we took on Lacania United, and we won 2-0. That was the final score. We debuted 2 new tactics that weren't really new tactics. They were basically just sort of different philosophies within the same sort of general idea. One more attacking, one more defending, and of course we used them in tandem to great effect, getting that 2-0 victory. Unfortunately, guys, that really hasn't worked out in the subsequent matches. We took on Lacania United at the end of July. A couple months have gone past, and we have a number of results and, of course, transfers to tell you about. And we'll get into those. First of all, Nauti. That was the game immediately after the Lacania United game, and it was the last game that we have won in the Hell's Teeth season. We went down early. Well, not early. Early in the second half, rather. Alapul Ale put Nauti up, and Tui and Moeaga got the 2 goals to hand us the 3 points on the day. But as I say, last time we got 3 points. We drew 4-4 with Tamanuku in a match that had definite throwbacks to that Lua Motu live comm that you guys will remember. So we had some issues with the defensive tactic in this match, and probably that's just because Tamanuku are a better side than us, and maybe I, in retrospect, shouldn't have panicked the way I did, but the defensive tactic didn't provide very much sort of utility, and so it made me suspicious of it. In the next few matches, we took on Nanumaga and Manu Laiva, and we didn't score anything. Nanumaga scored a goal that handed them the victory. Manu Laiva was a scoreless draw. And then against Nui, we used the attacking 3-4-3 tactic the entire match, and you can see how that turned out. A stunning 7-6 victory for Nui, in which Lapati Okalani scored 4 goals. Not our finest day, and it really was kind of a realization for me of, okay, I need to stop trying to tinker with the tactics. Let's just go back to what worked back here in this area of the season in that live comm you saw against Lacania United. And so we've definitely shored things up a little bit at the back, but we're still not getting the results. We took on Nui in the first match of the Independence Cup, lost 2-0. I mean, granted, Nui are a very, very good team this year, and there's no shame in losing to them, or twice. We took them on twice in succession, and the net goal difference was only -3 in these 2 losses. It could have been a lot worse, but still, you would expect us to sort of bounce back and then find these results. And against Lacania United and Hamiamimi, despite really, I was pleased with how we played, and I was pleased with how the tactics worked. We just couldn't get the results. And, if we look at this last match against Hamiamimi, I've been doing sporadic sort of match analysis checks over the course of this poor run of form, trying to figure out what is going wrong. And we'll do another one here. I'll show you guys. I haven't actually looked at this Hamiamimi game, so we'll be seeing it together. But I mean, look at this. Most of the sort of summaries from our assistant here, or from our statisticians, I mean, we're not playing that badly, actually. You can see, Eti made 1 mistake that led to a goal. Okay, that's not great, but 1 mistake that led to a goal in the match. I mean, it can happen to anybody. And then Tailolo Moeaga couldn't win any headers. Everybody else, that's all stuff there in green. I'm not sure what's going wrong. And look at this attacking. Look at this heat map here. Where our possession is way up in their half, exactly where we want it. I mean, this is the whole idea, especially behind the attacking 3-4-3, is to really press teams back into their own half. We're doing exactly that. Okay, I mean, this is maybe an elucidating thing here, because you can see all these long distance shots here. Tui, Lutelu, Tui, I'll explain him in a moment. I think a lot of these are actually free kicks, and that's the reason they're from so far out, and so it's not good to see all these misses from long distance. Like to see more shots in the box. Perhaps that's something that we can work on. But, I mean, as I say, guys, I don't think we've actually been that poor. and I think the tactics are working. I think the issues are more about team cohesion and just like mental weakness, not responding well to going down. You know, early on in the season, it seemed like we could always respond to conceding early, and now it's just not happening. This is something that perhaps we could look at, because I think especially the attacking 3-4-3, we really want to utilize the wings, and to see that much action going down the middle, that's a little concerning. So that might be something that we could perhaps exploit the flanks or something like that. But yeah, guys, this big slide has been really, I mean, it's scuppered our season. Let's just be frank about it. We're basically already out of the Independence Cup group stage, which, as I mentioned, I think last episode or maybe a couple of episodes, it's a single match. It's a single round robin. Every one of these 6 teams plays each other once. After those 5 matches per team, the top 2 go ahead to the Independence Cup final, and we're basically out of that, as you can see. I mean, only 4 points away from that second place spot, but with only 2 matches left, it's not looking good. And I believe the 2 matches that we have left are against, I think, Tofaga and somebody else that's really good. So that's not looking likely. As you can see, we have slipped down to 8th in the table. I mean, it could be worse, but to think that really, you know, even just a few episodes ago, I was hoping that we would be up in the 3rd, 4th place regions fighting for a OFC Champions League spot. I mean, that is well beyond us at this point, and it's really, so this poor run of form, it's been disastrous, and it's also been frustrating because I can't figure out what's going wrong. Now, I think my first guess is probably what we're going to talk about next, which is the transfers that have happened. There are a lot of them, and that again is perhaps one of the reasons that the squad chemistry has been disrupted. As I say, it's the 24th of August, so we have had a chance to do a decent number of transfers, and I don't want to get too belabored on them because it will take way too long, but let's just go through these really quickly. Katepu Fakasega is an attacking midfielder. We signed him from Luamotu. He's a pretty decent option as a first-team player. He's perhaps not as good as Taumafai Tui or James Lapayo, but as we'll discuss in a moment, he's going to come in very handy if we lose one of those 2 guys to a outgoing transfer. Malesi Eliu is also somebody who we've signed. We brought him in from Nui, who, as I mentioned, an excellent team this year. He's not amazing, but he does have a potential ability of 5, and at only 23, plenty of room for him to grow, and he does represent a good option as a first team player for us, and we really have needed improvement on the wings for quite some time. So good to get him in. We've also signed a new starting goalkeeper, Mayo Tui Tapase. Tapase we got from Nui as well. He's declining a lot in training, which is very concerning. But he's certainly better than Joshua Valawaga, and so you know, we'll be happy to see him come in. Although he was the goalkeeper in that 7-6 result against his former club Nui, that was a little bit concerning. But aside from that blip, he's been much better than Valawaga. Lutelu Tui is also somebody who we've brought in. He's a sort of right-sided winger type of player. He's not ready for the first team. He's more at 19 years old. He's really more sort of a developing player for the future. When I signed him, I was really hoping his potential ability would be higher than that. That's not great to see, 2.5 stars, but you know, perhaps we can just sort of keep an eye on him. If he doesn't pan out, you know, we didn't pay a cent for him. So this is perhaps the signing that I'm the most excited about. We've brought in Felefu Tapugao Jr. Who did we sign him from? Nauti? Tofaga. We brought him in from Tofaga. He's a real-life player, always good to sign one of those, and he is a first-team quality central defender. He's come in, he's immediately become our best center back by quite a distance, and he's been struggling with an injury that he's getting over. When we signed him, he was not fit. He had a twisted knee, and he's only just recovering from that. It does seem like his recovery's taking a bit of time. I've had to kind of bring him off early in the last few matches. That's a little concerning, but I'm hopeful that he'll develop into a really reliable defensive option for us. Katepu Stanley, another winger, another young winger who we're hoping will develop for the future. I'm really just kind of taking a punt on him. And then we've brought in Mauma Lepayo. This is sort of a recent deal that we've done because as I'll speak in a bit, guys, we may be losing Joshua Valawaga, and so we need another reserve goalkeeper. as for departures, I've released Ofati and Okelani, our former reserve goalkeepers, with the 2 new keepers coming in addition to Valuaga. Felt they really weren't needed, and so I've let them go. Lutello Siu, we've also released him. He has been absolutely abysmal this year. You can see 3 appearances in the A division, a 6.37 average rating, all of those as a substitute. He's been atrocious for us, really a disappointing player. And when I told him to pick up his training level, he pitched an absolute fit. Said, I'm working hard enough as it is. And so I said, all right, well, you can work harder playing for some other team, because I'm not having it anymore. Especially with all these incoming transfers, we don't need somebody sitting around having a bad attitude. As for departures that are currently in progress, as you can see, guys, Tailolo Moeaga in the process of leaving the club, currently talking to Nauti. He's really somebody who hasn't panned out. You guys will remember we signed him back in February at the start of the series. He was supposed to be sort of a set-piece specialist we'd bring on as a substitute. He's just been awful. He's really not performed for us, and so I'm happy to see the back of him if he does go to Nauti. Now, this is something that's a little more concerning. Taumafai Tui's really been a brilliant player and loyal servant to the club since we signed him, but Nui now are coming in for him, and Nui, of course, currently in, what are they, in first place? They're currently in second place, really chasing for the title. They've been in that top spot for a lot of the season, and Taumafai Tui, there's not a lot I can offer him. He was on a contract that stated he was a key player. That's as high as it can get, and at the amateur level, really, that squad status, that's about all you can offer your player. So I can't offer him a better deal than the one he's already on. So if he decides, you know what, I'd rather go and chase the title with Nui, I can't really stop him from going. So that Fakasega signing really looking important in retrospect. Finally, Joshua Valuaga, who is really now our third place keeper, has received a number of offers, 2 offers from Nauti and Niutau. I wouldn't mind in the least bit if he leaves. He's been very, very poor for us, guys. So as I mentioned, a lot of transfers coming in, and that can disrupt excuse me, that can disrupt our team chemistry, obviously. As such, I've set the team cohesion, or I've set the general training to be team cohesion, try and get these new guys integrated as quickly as possible, because I'm sure these transfers have had something to do with our sort of mental weakness and the poor run of form that we have had. Yeah, I mean, as I've mentioned repeatedly in previous episodes, with an amateur club, you don't have that many training sessions, so you're tempted to crank up the intensity of training, but we do have an ambitious squad personality, and so, when you crank up the training level too high, they complain, and then they're unhappy, and then when other teams come in for them, because they're unhappy, they're thrilled to leave. It's very difficult to build a squad in this way, and it's really becoming clear that the ambitious squad personality, in the case of our club, is really more of an albatross than a benefit in any way. So, we've brought in some players who are, maybe a little more on the professional side, and hopefully that's something that can eventually change things, but first we've got to pull out of this run of very poor form, and I suppose you could look at it from the perspective of our opponents here on the day are Nauti. They're in 11th place in the A division, having a terrible year themselves. Maybe this is the opportunity for us to finally stop this skid and turn things around. Nauti, obviously one of the giants of the A division, as I think I mentioned in episode 1. They've won it 8 times, and I'm fairly certain that 7 of those have been 7 consecutive wins of the A division. It's clearly not on for them this year. Nauti in 11th place. And we're hoping that we can deal them an 8th loss for the season to help stop our run of very poor form. Certainly Hell's Teeth and Nauti on current form, some of the worst teams in the A division. Will it say in the stages screen what the form is? Well, obviously, we're very poor. Yeah, Nauti winless in their last 5 in the A division. So this is really a battle between 2 teams in tailspins in the match that you're about to see here, guys. Like never before, we need a victory. And hopefully having this match be a live com will be really a little bit of good luck. So let's have a look at the team here, guys. Tapase is our starting goalkeeper now. You can see him there at number 17, as I mentioned. Aside from that blip against Nui when he conceded 7 times, he's been very good for us thus far this year. Our new signing, Tapagao Jr., is at a condition of 95, which is pretty good. I'm hoping he can see out a match for the full 90 minutes for the first time today. His sharpness not looking that great. Hopefully that doesn't hold him back a little bit. Masolia Ete and Ali Nessi Salau still keeping their spots, but long term I think we'll be replacing them. For now they're still doing okay. Then we have Aliu, our new winger signing, over here on the left side of the formation. He's going to be responsible for a lot of our set pieces as well, guys. Then we have Fakasega dropping back into midfield, as Tui is currently still with the club, and Pearson is next to him at ball-winning midfielder. And then, of course, Lapayo, Tui, Samaya Moeaga, the usual triplets up front for us. Yeah, that's really about all I want to talk about thus far. Oh, Tini Lau. I knew there was one more thing. I knew it. So Tini Lau actually got his first goal for the club in the last episode, guys. Taumafai Tini Lau, he's been not particularly impressive. 23-year-old attacking midfielder. He can play in a bunch of different places on the pitch. Haven't really used him just because he's so unimpressive attribute-wise, but he did get a goal in our last episode, guys. And a decent match rating as well. Came on, scored for us from a set piece, which is something really nice to see. We've been struggling to score from set pieces. Let's just check that out, actually. That reminds me, you guys will remember in the last few episodes I keep coming back to the board confidence screen just because the board were so angry that we couldn't do anything from set pieces or play direct football. But as you can see, we've scored a bunch from set pieces since we've brought these new signings in. Aliu really seems to be a pretty decent player from set pieces, and he's helped out a lot with that. And as I say, Tini Lau getting himself on the score sheet in that 2-2 draw against Hame. I've decided, you know what, we don't really have any other great options on the right side. So let's just give Tini Lau a start. What do we have to lose? So yeah, let's get into this match here, guys. Again, taking on Nauti in a tailspin of their own. They'll be playing a 4-3-3, which generally speaking is a formation we tend to do okay against. I think it probably has to do with they only have 2 wingers that they can threaten us with. And in our sort of only 1 winger on each side of the formation kind of tactic, that's something that we can definitely benefit from. 413 tickets sold, which is pretty good for us. That's a decent number of tickets. We've already looked at our tactics, so let's just keep running right through here. As usual, the obligatory match sharpness warning. Not much we can do about that. Hell's Teeth have the quality to see off Nauti, say the press. We are also the favorites with the bookies. That's always a little bit worrying. I find it in Football Manager, teams love to just sort of overturn those sort of expectations. I'd almost rather play as the underdogs than the favorites. Perhaps that's just because of the ambitious squad personality in this case. I don't know, guys. Let's have a look at our team talk here. I don't think I mentioned this in the sort of preview. One of the things that I've noticed in our pep talk analysis, my squad thinks that the team talks are getting sort of repetitive. And so it's clear that is probably something that's contributing to the poor run of form. A lot of the team talks I was giving in that great run we had early in the season just not working anymore. So that's very probably part of the issue, is that I've gotten reliant on the same old stuff. So at this point now, I'm basically just doing random team talks, like literally random. We'll just kind of do whatever and just hope something works. So I've told them go and have fun tonight. I guess keeping the pressure off of them hopefully will be, something that is beneficial. Certainly in these kind of poor runs of form, you do want to just keep your squad from getting as keep them from having from being stressed as much as possible. We kick things off here. Again, we're using the more defensive 3-4-2-1 formation, as we saw in that last game against Lacania United, and they have an attack. They don't have an attack right from kickoff. That's good. If we're struggling in the second half and either behind or it's still level, we'll switch over to the more attacking tactic. But it does leave us so open at the back. So really, we want to see if this formation can get us anything here. That's a great ball over to Tini Lau. Can he whip a ball in? He has found Lapayo. Is it onside? Yes, it is. And we are up in the 8th minute here against Nauti. James Lapayo getting himself on the score sheet. Usually he's really more of a assist provider and more of a creator. So to see him get himself on the score sheet here, I'll be curious to see whether it's a volley or a header. But that was Tini Lau whipping that ball in, guys. Scored as a substitute in the last match. I threw him on. I said, all right, buddy, come on, see if you can do it again. And he's got himself an assist. Look at this brilliant run of form from Tini Lau. He's the sort of player, his attributes are awful. He doesn't really have a lot of potential for the future. I think this is the sort of situation that you see in FM where sometimes guys just have a good run of form. And so, we'll just have to keep using him until he falls out of form, and then, we'll sort of go back to business as usual. But as long as he's playing well, we should use him, I think. I have switched back over to the close video style. It was getting tired of the behind the goal low one. So yeah, it was a header from Lapayo to put us up front early. This is the sort of team that makes me a little nervous. They always say in football sometimes it can be bad to score too early, and that is something that is definitely a concern for us. But we'll see what happens. Looks like there could be a highlight for us here as Fakasega wins possession there. Moeaga holds the ball up, goes to Tui. Tui, was that a shot or a cross? Will we ever know? One of the oldest questions in the sport. Another highlight here. Masolia Etis won this one, but it looks like it is going to be Nauti's highlight. No, Pearson wins the ball. Tui, can we launch a counterattack here? Moeaga. Lapayo sprays the ball out for Aliu, and Fakasega will clean up and recycle possession for us here. Tini Lau has the ball on the right again. Will he whip another ball in? He finds Tui. Moeaga, can he lay the ball on for Lapayo? Yes, but Lapayo is stripped of possession, and now Nauti can counter. Okelani. Oof, this is exactly where we usually get scored against. Silao has a lot of space. Valoa, a great save from Tapase. We needed him to come good there, and it looked like he was at full extension to his right, made the save. It's a corner kick that we'll have to defend, but Tapase collects that, and we've neutralized the threat. Really, really refreshing to see a new face in at goalkeeper, guys. I think I don't have to explain to you how frustrated I was getting with Falawaga. It looks like we do have a highlight. Lapayo, Tui. Come on, boys. Let's make it 2-0. Pearson, Fakasega. Fakasega picks out Tui. He's got some space. Sprays it out for Tini Lau. Another good cross. Come on, son. He's decided not to. Fakasega, Lapayo. Decent run of possession. Moeaga. That's a poor shot. Very poor. Looked like he tried to take it on his weak foot. We really should have done a lot better there. Decent bit of passing, though, so I suppose shoots of hope. Lapayo, and we do have looks like a 2-on-3 here, although Moeaga's held up possession. In fairness, that is what he's instructed to do in the tactics, so I can't judge him too much. Pearson, Moeaga's onside. Scores! It's 2-0 here. Oh, well done, Hell's Teeth. Well done, lads. Tui, Pearson, poor defending, really. There's no way Moeaga should have been kept onside there. Looked like their right fullback was keeping Moeaga onside. So yeah, 2-0 up here, guys. I'll be very disappointed. Oh, it looks like we could score. Oh, Etis put it over. That was another one of those examples of how Aliu can make us much more dangerous from set pieces. That left boot of his has a very nice sort of curling sort of look to it, and he can find people with those set pieces. But yeah, as I say here, guys, hopefully we can hang on to this lead. We were up 2-0 against Mimi, and that didn't work out. Moeaga decides to take that shot from a tight angle, and he was much too far away. Always going to fly over the bar. But so far, so good. So far, so good. The performance has been excellent. I'm a little nervous. You know what? You know what, guys? I am going to give the old don't let your guard down team talk. I'm sure the players will be very pissed when I give this talk. Actually, look at that. They have all gained focus. Almost all gained focus. That is excellent. Exactly what I wanted to see. Thanks, boys. All right. You know what? I'm not even going to make any more changes. We're going to get straight into the second half. Excellent. Excellent. Excellent stuff. I think perhaps it's because we've seen leads kind of be frittered away, like then that live comm against Luamotu in the last match against Mimi. Perhaps the players have realized, you know what? We do need to sort out our shit. We're too vulnerable at the back. Tapu Gao cleans that up, and it looks like Lapayo has just raced past his man. Look at that. Well done, Lapayo. Moeaga is going to get to this ball from Lapayo out on the right-hand side. He'll hold up play, crosses it over. Lapayo! Oh, looked like he tried to knock it down for the feet of Tui when perhaps I would rather have seen him keep it for himself and try to work out a chance from the left side of that area, but that's all right. So I'm thinking it's probably not a good idea to switch over to the attacking tactic here, guys. No? I mean, it'd be a pretty stupid thing to do, wouldn't it? Is there any reason why we would want to do that? It was sort of part of my plan to switch over. Pearson puts that free kick over the bar. I mean, I can't think of any reason why we would want to do that. We definitely should make a substitution, probably check on Tapu Gao's fitness level, but no reason to switch over as far as I'm concerned. For the most part, everybody playing pretty well. I think the lowest rating is a 6.7. That's not too shabby. And, wow, yeah, looks like Tapu Gao Jr. is right in the middle of the list in terms of his condition. He's doing very well. I think he's going to make the full 90 minutes. That's great to see. So, Fakasega is our least fit player here. Let's see what our options are in terms of the midfield. I think it's pretty slim pickings. I didn't really sort out my substitutes. We do have Moeaga, but he's more of a sort of left-sided kind of player. I don't think we really have any particularly impressive options for our substitutes in that area. I think we're going to hold off on a substitution for now. We're just going to keep things as they are. We've been playing well. Don't want to rock the boat too much. Let's just wait another 10 minutes or so before we make a battery of changes here. Oh, I did forget to switch things over to exploit the flanks. That's all right. I think that's really something that we would use more for the other attacking 3-4-3 tactic. But that's definitely something that I'll look at. We definitely want to be using the wings more, especially now that we have better players on the wing. Here's Tui on the right-hand side. Oof. That was the sort of shot that easily should have been saved by the Nauti goalkeeper, but he sprayed it over the end line, punched it past the post, but it's a corner. Eliu. Oh, I thought maybe he had Silao there at the near post, but looks like the chance has been dealt with from Nauti. So, yeah, we're going to have to make some substitutions here. Perhaps it's better if I just look at this from the perspective of who I want to bring on rather than who I need to bring off. I don't think I want to bring off Tini Lao, which kind of eliminates any option for bringing on Eti Mani on the right-hand side. Tiute and Moeaga, good left-sided players, and Eliu is only on a 6.7. That might be something that's worth doing. Yeah, let's do that. Let's bring on the good luck charm, Alatele Tiute, very young player, so it's always good to give him match experience. He needs it as well, as he's still trying to learn this left-hand winger role. Let's bring him on. I probably should have made 2 subs, but that's all right. We'll make the other 2 in a few minutes. Just need to hang on here, guys, and at some point I probably will turn on waste time just to try and part the bus a little bit here. We do have a highlight. That's always a little worrying at this stage of the match. Tapase sprays out the long goal kick, but it looks like they're going to gain possession. No, Tini Lau wins that, and maybe we can counter here. Moeaga on the ball now. He can find Tiute. He has. Tiute gets rid of that. Silao launches it long for Moeaga. Ideally, Fakasega will get to this. Yes, Pearson. Tui. Go on. It looks like that was blocked, so it should be a corner kick here. Well, we don't need to push everyone up now. Pearson will whip this ball in. This will come back to Pearson here. Whips in another ball. That is dealt with by the Nauti goalkeeper. And with this highlight being over, I am going to make our final 2 substitutions here, guys. Let's see. So we've brought on Tiute. Timawani is an option that we could bring on as a striker. I don't believe he can play anywhere other than striker, which means he'd be coming on for Moeaga. Slight delay here in processing. Sorry about that, guys. Oh, he's only really good as a poacher. That makes him not a very good option. And that explains why he's been unused for most of the year. Katagali certainly can, though. Let's bring him on for Moeaga, who's played well. But always seems to struggle a little bit with fitness near the end of games. And as for another option, I guess it looks like it's mostly sort of just right-sided players, which means I'd have to bring off Tini Lau. That's all right. We'll just bring off Tini Lau. It's been a good day for him. I think we'll keep him in the starting 11. As long as he's playing the way that he has today, the way that he did against Tame and Mimi, that's what I want to see from my teams here. Players reacting well, for the most part, to my my team talks as they're my touchline team talks. So that's always good to see. Seems like a lot of the time it's just listening intently or something meaningless like that. And so all of our substitutes have come on. We are in FM cheese range here, guys. We do have to be concerned that someone will get injured as we've used all of our substitutes, because FM loves doing that to you. Let's turn on waste time. We're going to drop to a much lower tempo. See if we can just kind of kill this game off here. Oops. And just collect these 3 points here. I did select this game because Nauti were in such poor form, and I figured, let's do this for the live comm. Hopefully we'll get a decent result out of it. And it looks like they've committed a pretty bad mistake here. Katagali really should have done better. He just needed to get on his horse and run, but Eti well off his line to cut that out. A little worrying to see, but he's gotten to it, and so all's well that ends well. Fakasega, we are in possession here. Eti finds Lapayo, Tui, and Katagali hits the post. Could have made it 3-0. Katagali has the ability to come on and do things. He's, I think he scored. When did he score? He scored somewhat in a game back early on in the season. Can't remember which match, but played pretty well. Looks like we are going to collect the 3 points here. Don't want to speak too soon, but we are in possession. Pearson can't find Katagali, and really Tapase needed to come out for that. They have gotten a shot away. That's the sort of situation where where opponents probably would have scored. Nauti hit the side netting, and so we've gotten lucky. And they've managed to find possession again here. I have to admit, if they score, and they haven't scored. I was about to say, if they score, we'll probably still win, but I'll be upset at losing the clean sheet. Luckily, we have gained a victory here, guys. The live comm proves to be good luck. Thank you so much for being with us, or with me, because we've done it. We finally have gotten a win. That is a relief. Let me tell you. Wow. It was a very good performance, which makes me ask why we can't play like that on a consistent basis. You know what? I'm going to give them that team talk because that's truth. That is the straight dope right there. And for the most part, the players have responded pretty well to that constructive criticism. Thanks for being with me here, guys. It really has been trials and tribulations here at Hell's Teeth, but nice for us to get that victory, and we've finally gotten the 3 points, and hopefully this can really launch us into the final kind of third of the year. As I mentioned, I think we're really kind of out of things in both the Independence Cup and in the A Division. But the Christmas Cup, as you guys can see here, the draw is coming up for the quarterfinal. We are still in the Christmas Cup. We will be taking on Pioneer, and I think that might be our next match, actually. Let's just have a look at that. So probably that is not the match that I will be showing for our next live com. Yes, Christmas Cup first round, we'll be taking on Pioneer. But maybe then if we make it, let's not get ahead of ourselves. If we beat Pioneer, then perhaps the quarterfinal Christmas Cup match is the next match that we'll show in the live com. Otherwise, I'm a little bit tempted to come back for the last match of the group stage of the Independence Cup. Well, I'll look at things. It'll depend on if we beat Nauti again in the next group stage match. That may mean that we can still be in with a chance against Jafaga, and so that tentatively might be the next live com. But again, that depends on results. So we'll see what happens. We'll see which competitions we stay alive in, and probably it's looking like maybe a cup match for our next live com, guys. Thank you so much for being with us today. We've pulled out of our winless run and managed to collect a good result in the A Division. Yeah, thank you so much for being here. We've done it. That is it for today, guys. Please like, please subscribe, and please come back for episode 6 of The Triumph.